Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for many great Hearts of Iron and other historical videos. Really do appreciate that. And also it helps both me and you out if you hit that like button, because it tells the YouTube people what kind of content you might like. And so they suggest better stuff to you. And it also gives my videos more prominence. So, if you would just take a moment and hit that like button right now, I really appreciate that, all you YouTube viewers. And of course, we are making this episode live on Twitch and been talking about a lot of interesting things. Yeah, for YouTube we are quite controversial. Okay, so let's continue. Yes, to everybody, I'm playing sort of. Oh, thanks for following on Twitch. Do appreciate that. Because one of the things I sort of kind of good. We want to get this airport here. Decided I wanted to do just play a little more carefully, and not just try to, you know, mash through everywhere in huge numbers. Okay, come on, mountain troops. I should reorganize things here. Got a lot of mountainous terrain here. And you're there, and you can come down here. And I know those mountain troops are getting there, having to cross this river. India has lots of rivers, or maybe just India is big and so we see lots of rivers in it. Okay, wartime AA expansion. Yes, that was very much of a... Yes, we know that we have this one ship at very low strength, but go anyways. During the war, and I particularly know this from, well, both Japan and the US, but they grew their AA. The US did a test, I think it was in 1940. Basically, you know, oh, I don't know, dragging big kites or big windsocks behind aircraft, and far enough behind aircraft so that the aircraft, any aircraft gunners weren't likely to hit the aircraft, but to shoot up that. And they did some diving attacks and things like that on ships, and the US found that they weren't hitting anything, and they needed to massively upgrade the amount of aircraft guns on ships. And so they did that, and it got a lot better. Okay, the Taiho class. That's, I think, about the best the Japanese actually got. Don't know what these are. Taiho class CVB. Oh, Taiho Kai. Okay, but I think it was right about the Taiho. Taiho was pretty good, though. It went down fast. It was designed to be as a, I'm guessing, as CVB with battleship. It was designed to have fairly heavy armor, and they also had torpedo blisters, is what they called them, on the sides of the ships. Basically spaced armor, because most of you are all familiar with you know, the idea of spaced armor on tanks. Not so much that it's going to stop a high velocity tank round, and it hardly does at all, because most of them are mild steel and very thin, from going through the tank. It's designed for the hollow charge type shells to hit and explode at a mostly harmless distance from the tank, and spaced armor works very well. Well, they put on torpedo blisters, which are sort of like that, because torpedoes are, again, an explosive charge, not a high velocity charge. And yeah, it didn't maybe work out so well, if I'm remembering all this correctly. Again, going off of memory here, though I've recently read the book within the last month or so. They had some of these, and I don't know where the actual hit came, some torpedo blisters. And basically what that does is increase the hull volume and gives a area to blow up. They got hit by a torpedo, I think just one. It wasn't that bad of a hit, and it was actually one of the ships that had better damage control elements built into the ship and trained up a little bit better, and so that they were sort of dealing with this well enough until somebody on the ship, you know, officer type, vents gas and not fumes of some sort, tries to clear out buildup of flammable fumes, and does so. But in doing so, they go out through part of the ships. You know, it's a big ship, so I don't think it's like throughout the whole ship, but through a big enough region of it, and somewhere within that, a spark happens with this highly flammable gas within the air, and that just goes and immediately sort of blows through a big chunk of the ship. And so it was like one torpedo takes it down, but the torpedo itself, and had it been done right, would have been a problem, but wasn't going to sink the ship, wasn't even going to come near to sinking the ship. But it goes down for first real action that it's in. We'll do that. I haven't checked the chat. Let's go back. How did we get into Gurkhas? Scrolling back up in the chat. Sorry if you guys are seeing this sort of wandering around. I wish it wouldn't do it. Oh, wow. A lot of stuff going on. I don't know that China fought anybody to a stalemate. I think, if I'm understanding, Japan just ran out of logistical ability to push deeper into China. That's how I would describe. It was more the idea that Japan needed to disperse its troops to control the territory that it controlled, but had it wanted to draw enough of its army together, it could go wherever it really wanted to in China, but you would have to abandon regions to do so. So I wouldn't call that fighting to a stalemate. I would just call it just the inability of Japan to logistically support its troops and maintain its territory. That's what how I would describe the Japanese-Chinese conflict. Didn't know that they were the first to revolt. At the moment, I'm just using black ice. Sorry, okay. In some ways, it is similar to Germany's war in Russia, definitely. And so, yeah, it's And really what Japan... See, Japan thought it was going to get its previous things, you know, or happened in the previous ways. Fight a few battles, win them, and then get some territory and sign peace treaty. And then wait a year, 5 years, 10 years, and go to war again and take another chunk. Well, during the time of, I think it was during the time fighting around Shanghai, Nanjing, I think down here, I think it was, if I remember correctly, down in this region, Japan had sent a peace envoy, trying to like, hey, like, you know, let's, this is before the fall of Nanking, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but they sent a peace envoy down. And basically, Chiang Kai-shek just refused to have a peace agreement. Unless it was going to be Japan withdrawing. I'm not sure whether he would have insisted on Manchukuo, but Japan withdrawing from all of the territory that they had at least taken since the Marco Polo Bridge. And he just refused to sign that. And Japan just didn't understand it. What? They had lost. They're supposed to have a, you fight some battles, you lose, sign the agreement. And China refuses. Yeah, well, you're very right about Japan fighting one war and then starting another one without first winning the first war. Very right about that. Well, we're taking down some of their transports. Good. Don't know why they're still sending transports. I really, really, really wish you could block areas off. If you can't quite specify paths of transport vessels, I wish you could block sea provinces or even sea zones if necessary. To don't use those to better guide the path. Support that. Come on, fleet, come on. We need you into the Bay of Bengal. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. I don't know if you guys heard that within the last few weeks they published a report that was it 700 priests had molested children alone in the state of... No, I think it was 300 priests. 300 Catholic priests molested children just in the state of Pennsylvania. Just in one U.S. state. The Catholic Church is an incredibly corrupt organization. Incredibly corrupt. Okay, you're in port now. Yay. Okay. Now I want you to search and destroy the Bay of Bengal. And yes, engage the enemy there. And you guys... yeah, launch. Should start making new theaters, I guess, but I don't know. Oh well, one of the cardinals involved was, I guess he was Cardinal Bishop. Sorry, again, I'm not a Catholic. I don't follow it closely. One was the main one in Washington, D.C., who, after he gets transferred out of Pennsylvania to a very prominent thing, anybody who would let their children around a Catholic priest is shouldn't be able to have children, shouldn't be able to take care of children. So it's just incredibly bad. And part of the problem is the Catholic Church's desire to have, if you will, extraterritoriality for its clergy. That is, in my opinion, very much part of the problem. Very different than the Protestants. The Protestants don't claim any sort of special status for themselves in that sense. Do we ever get that airbase I was hunting for? Here. Good. Okay. How big is it? 125 airplanes? My God. Oh, we'll pause. Yes, you can operate up there. Yeah, not a bad idea. But there are lots and lots of records, at least in the United States, that could be handed over and they would be prosecuted. Okay. Well, now that we've got these mountain troops and we're in a mountainous region here, let's attack. Attack with some armor and some infantry. Cross the river, which is not the best option, but should be helpful. And we do have air superiority. Okay, these guys are moving here. And can we also launch this fleet going too? Improved infantry equipment, great. Well, I'm having enough trouble producing the equipment that I currently have capabilities for, so I'm looking for other things than more production, like maybe better signals. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, Protestants are many different organizations. So, and yes, they sort of create the local Catholic Church, whatever, but they're all in a hierarchical organization. So you have some very corrupt Protestant organizations, and you have some very uncorrupt Protestant organizations. You just need to pay attention which is which, and don't get involved with the corrupt ones. That's how you do it. So when you say Protestant, you're not talking like Church of England as a specific organization. You're talking about, referring to AZADs here, you're talking about a wide scope of different organizations. So you gotta specify which organization and that kind of thing. So that is a big difference than dealing with Catholic. Well, I think it's more organizations than religions. Patriotic Brit. There is a big difference between the belief system and the organization behind it. Unless, of course, you're saying that the organization itself is somehow part of it. So this is why I guess, and I don't explain my personal beliefs. I talk about ideas here, but while generally in the and I'm only going to go this far, in the general vague sense, yeah, I'm in the Protestant camp on Christianity, not going into my exact personal thing, but so you can have a belief in a particular, say, Protestant sect, and think a particular, and you have the hierarchical Protestant sect like the Church of England. You can have a belief that basically mirrors their belief with thinking the Church of England is a corrupt organization. I'm not saying it's corrupt. I'm just saying you can believe that and still be support a believer in the Church of England, where you have the sort of the religious aspect, particularly with the Pope in Catholicism, that is merging the organization with the belief. So you can believe in the general belief of a Protestant sect and not believe in its organization. Have I tried the Iron Curtain mod? No, I have not. Well, again, evangelicals are a very diverse groups, and there are definitely been some very prominent corrupt evangelical ministers and organizations. And so you're absolutely right, but evangelicalism is not tied to a personality. So, most Christian groups believe in proselytizing, meaning going out into the world and getting converts. And a lot of them believe in going to places that are not where their local organization is based. There are a lot of Protestant churches of different denominations in America, in North America, and particularly the U.S., like to send down missionaries down into South America, which is the Catholic region, to try to get them to convert to their Protestant sect. But they also, often at the same time, try to do good works, as they think, like build a hospital, or build a local care facility, or dig wells, or do, humanitarian work as well, while spreading their faith. And so you have to look at that organization by organization, and as just all I can say is you got to look at it organization that way. It's different. Just going through the chat, guys. Those watching later, you've seen it if you want to pause. Well, they have a higher fertility rate because those that, though many don't, they're not supposed to believe in or practice birth control as a religious belief. Yeah, okay, yeah, IKB is getting that. Yeah, but most Protestants aren't recruiting people to do violence. Sorry to hear that, Tippett. Yeah, I hadn't heard this particular Mohammed, so I'm looking at that. I'm figuring it's Muslims. And so yeah, you would definitely have much stronger criticisms if the people out in the various Christian groups were hiring or doing violence from their group. I would definitely be worried about that if they were. Okay, well, we're coming in at Madras here with a mountain division. Not doing very well. So they've guarded their port. Wow, the AI is doing good there. But so far they are low organization, so I don't know if we will be able to. What we need to do is, okay, hopefully it isn't too late here. Let's grab this fleet here. Let's uncheck that and park it right here. If you do that, if it goes there, yeah, okay, now it's going there. It will do shore bombardment, which will help its invasion. But it needs to be parked. Oh, did we not pick a... Okay, new fighter technology. Well, yep. Or tactics. Do we not have any? Well, we have battleships. That should be enough to... Sending in their air support. So far, not enough to give them a particular bonus. And it looks like now we no longer control the oceans here. Lovely. Oh no, that's air power. Because these guys have stopped going, it looks like. Oh no, they're still going. Good. Okay, we have more specialized factories. Our nation is changing. Okay, we are now a varied nation. That's improved. That's an improvement. Okay. We still don't have any real populace here. Oh, good. We can do this now. Let's go from no recruitment of foreign to conscription, which will hurt our division recovery rate and organization by 1%, but we will get 6% more foreign recruitment. So hopefully that will help. Okay, well, we're going to hold air wings. Okay, standing by. So they're going to go back to that. And let's move you here. See if you can defend there more or help them invade more effectively. Yes, and I should be also continuing to micromanage up here, and I haven't been. Well, okay. Okay, all the mountain divisions here. Attack from one set of mountains to the other. And all of you guys join in, and you support. And you should be coming up to here anyways. Or you're trying another invasion here? You're back. Okay, well, we're gonna trash your plans so that once you're done, you go home. No, I think you need to specifically assign them to the region, like here. We'll click on their air. This is why you can micromanage it. I don't normally do a lot of this, but you can get the naval close air support and put them here. As you can see, they're trying to move up to reinforce here, and so we're putting them there, and we are assigning them to ground attack. And we can also do that with these guys as well. So they're in southern India. I hate air zones. Yeah, I know all of you who routinely watch know that. Okay, another ace pilot. Okay, so now let's look at this battle here. Well, we have air support. They're getting shore bombardment. And we have a decryption advantage as well. So we are coming ashore. With that, they have a small colonial garrison here that is using an artillery symbol, which is appropriate for like a coastal type garrison. Be more of an artillery based thing. And you can see we are bombing the symbols. And here we're doing much better. Now obviously this is probably not as good a division. I'm going to pause this and come and look. Up here, we've got to keep throwing people into the meat grinder. Don't let them concentrate too much force there. You support that attack. You guys now just you push there. You guys and you support that, and our light armor supports that. There we go. This way we're pushing at several points so they can't just mass troops to here. Well, I guess they could, but obviously they'd lose some other places. And back to watch this. I hope the Americans aren't taking over the Pacific. Let's go take a look. They've got those two islands, but that's been that way for a while. We've got lots. Oh wow, look at all these things. Our air power are striking it at units, but not necessarily being decisive, as in sinking anything. Oh, they took down one of ours, took down a few of ours. That's why we are building so many aircraft. I am focusing on aircraft builds. Yeah, well, obviously we're still building a lot of other ground equipment, but we are doing lots of air. Well, you can fly over it with impunity. They might be able to fly over it with impunity, but that, I think, is because anybody could fly over Ceylon or Sri Lanka with impunity. There's a difference. What are these? These are... I'm not sure exactly what those are. Okay. Well, these are all easy, cheap to research. Let's improve this. Okay, great. Now we are going to trash those orders. These guys are going to go back to Burma to recoup, and these guys are going to join them here to help take the island, which should give us an air base, which should give us the ability to invade across much better. Oh, and yes, let's also send in these guys. They're of course having trouble because we don't have enough manpower. You can see it keeps popping up as we keep getting a little bit, and then it's dropping down. In training in the field. Okay, yeah, we're just canceling all these. I know they're mostly trained, but I don't really need them. Okay, I need the guys at the front to keep filling in the ranks for the divisions. Well, we're getting air support, attacking from more than one province, so that's all doing good. Yeah, I've clicked. Okay. People tell me that it's, well. And you guys attack there so you don't reinforce them on this little spit of land. And with that, we're going to end another episode. I know it's sort of short, but I've been told to keep them down a little bit. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. If you haven't already, like I said before, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I love hearing from you. So post questions, comments, suggestions, corrections, whether about anything on the chat or from the game. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.